So Detrans Awareness Day, for me, it's about bringing awareness to both the medical complications of transitioning and the reality. There are going to be people who die from going down this path. There are going to be people who get very sick, like I have, from going down this path. I now have lifelong health issues, like autoimmune issues. There are people who have had top surgery, and they had that covered for their transition. But now that they realize that was the wrong thing to do, they can't get reconstructive surgery covered. Because these are really serious issues that have killed people, that have made people sick, or that have really damaged people's lives. So the thing I'd like people to know about detransitioners is that oftentimes we had issues long before we ever started transitioning. And during transitioning, we only gained more issues. And so our lives were already very difficult, and then we transitioned and they became even more complex and difficult. And so especially for detransitioners who are actively, speaking out on Twitter and on videos and all sorts of different things, they need support, they need help. They are very much alone otherwise. They are going against sort of the whole zeitgeist of the society at the moment, which is to affirm trans people. It would have been very easy to prevent me from transitioning. All doctors would have needed to say is, you have health complications that are going to get worse on these. You're going to be in a much higher chance of blood clots. It's very unsafe for you. You're going to get very sick. If they had said that to me, and they could have because we have the medical science on that, then I wouldn't have transitioned and I would have continued on with my life, healthier and happier than I currently am. If there's one thing I could tell my younger self, look, you're going to go through hell. You're going to go through mental and physical anguish. You're going to almost die from a blood clot. You're going to have heart surgery. You're going to feel like you want to kill yourself a few times. You're going to end up in the psych ward. You're going to feel like you need to transition because your dysphoria is so severe, but you don't need to transition. There are better ways to deal with that dysphoria. And if you do transition, you're going to lose the great things you already have, like that body, which can do so much, like run around and lift weights and do pull-ups. Follow truth, follow reasoning, and follow science, not the words of therapists or doctors who you think you should trust, because they don't have your best interests at heart. They are following an ideology that is going to harm you substantially. If I could talk to someone who was considering transitioning, I would say don't. And if I could talk to someone who is considering detransitioning, I would say do. Because transitioning is not a real thing. You're changing out your hormones and you're carving your body up in different ways surgically so that you can lessen this dysphoria. But the dysphoria is not something that makes you trans. It is in my opinion, mental condition that you can overcome in various ways. There are other ways. What are those other ways? Well, it's complex. It sort of depends on where that dysphoria comes from. Where does it come from? You might find that you have trauma in your past and you might want to see a trauma therapist, or you might find that you have internalized homophobia if you're gay. And that's what a good therapist can really help you with.